Namaste. My name is Swati Saraugi, and I'm the Territory Head of Early Childhood Association. Early Childhood Association is a non-profit organization whose motive is to nurture the future, one child at a time. It is a pan-India body consisting of all the important stakeholders, teachers, educators, parents, management. It keeps having a lot of workshops and programs to develop the safety and well-being of the children. This organization has been started by Dr. Swati Popat and is now present in all the cities of India. I have been working with more than 300 children in this age group. And let me begin by telling you that 0 to 6 is the most challenging age group. Thus, I thank Intelli FirstCry for organizing this webinar, which is a boon for parents who have so many questions. I was going through their page and they have so many workshops, videos on different topics from experts of all sorts. FirstCry Intelli has more than 12,000 members and it has a huge library of resources. I only wish that there were more organizations like this when I was a young mother myself. Do write in your questions in the chat and I will be more than happy to address them. The topic I've been asked to speak on today is continued learning and anxieties related to online learning. I'll break this up into 4. Why are we anxious? What is anxiety? Parents' anxiety and the child's anxiety. Overcoming these anxieties and anxieties related to the online education that we are talking about. So what is anxiety? Mild anxiety is something which is common, which is something that spurs us on to action. But right now, what we all are experiencing because of this situation, which is totally beyond our control, is toxic stress. And there are some things which we all know which are within our control, and there are some things which are beyond our control. COVID is one of them. So it's very natural to feel stressed at the moment. But if we change our mindset a little bit, if we change our vocabulary a little bit, if we say we are not stuck at home, we are safe at home, it will help a lot. I'd like to tell you a little thing. You might have heard of this. It's a story of a little boy who wanted to play football. And he was very upset because he didn't have the right shoes till he saw a boy of his age, who didn't have feet. And that reminded him to be grateful for what he does have. And this is the attitude of gratitude that we all need to incorporate into our lives, that we are alive, we are safe, and we are healthy. There is a lot of things outside, but let's just remember to be thankful for all that is right in our lives. Children's anxiety and parents' anxiety. Coming to that, there was a survey done and they said that most of the anxiety is about how to keep the child focused. I'm talking about this age group. Another big area of concern is how to juggle their own responsibility and focus on the child's learning process, which has also become a very important component of the parents' daily schedule. Then, of course, there is anxiety at the parents due to the real world problems outside. There is a lack of routine. There is a concern of whether my child is understanding the content or not, though he's sitting in front of the computer. Is it enough? Is it good enough to engage my child to help in his growth? There is, of course, no tutor who can help out with this. And for some parents, that might mean that there is a language hurdle or there is a conceptual error hurdle, but they have to overcome all of those things at this point of time. And for some parents, it could also mean that they're not getting any me time at all and they're feeling absolutely overburdened. They're feeling stressed and they're feeling that they need to do it all and there's just not enough time. So let's talk about why the child is stressed. Child, of course, is stressed because he doesn't have any avenues for release. He can't go out to play, he can't meet his friends, he can't go to school. His life, his world has turned totally upside down. Times are unprecedented and unpredictable, and thus so is his behavior. Your child, who was normally a very talkative person, has suddenly become moody. Sometimes he's very bored and he refuses to even indulge with you if you want to tell him that let's play a game. Understand that children do not have avenues. They don't know how to express themselves. They don't know how to control their impulses. So what they end up doing is throwing a lot of tantrums. And how you can handle that, I'll be coming to that in a little bit. A huge area of concern, of course, for parents is that they are always on their mobiles, even very young children, and they throw major tantrums if they're not allowed to be on their mobiles. So one psychologist who visited our school very recently, she told us that a mobile is actually a gadget, any gadget, is social psychological gratification. There is a reason why your child is so glued to the phone. If he's playing games, that means he needs stimulation. If he is wanting to talk to his friends or connect with his grandparents, which of course should be encouraged, it means that he needs socializing. If he's scrolling through trying to find content, maybe not for this age group, of course, that means that there is a desire for more knowledge, for something new, for more stimulation. Remember, major brain development happens between 0 to 7 years of age, and that is why it is so important to give the child something stimulating which will help him keep busy, engaged in a very productive way, in a very fun way. And that is why the gadget is coming in. So please stop thinking of gadgets as the devil. Right now, they really are your best friend. When you cannot allow your child to go out, keeping him busy at home with something fruitful to watch is the best thing that you can do. So ease up on yourself, parents, and let your child watch. The only thing that you need to be careful about is what is the content they are watching. Don't go by how much time he spent. What, of course, there are do's and don'ts of right mobile or right gadget etiquette, but more importantly is the content. If he's doing something which he's enjoying and which is not harming his brain development in any way, then let it be. Then let go for it. Our parents are anxious because, of course, they have bigger concerns and bigger responsibilities. But what is the message to our children? When times are bad, is it okay for me to be shouting? Is it okay for me to be tense all the time? Children are like monkeys. We all know that. Monkey see, monkey do. So when a child sees you feeling tense, they automatically learn that behavior and they themselves are very tense. So what we need to do, parents, is be calm. CALM. C is for change it. If there's any situation which you can't handle and you think that this is make something better, then definitely go for it. Change it. If not, the A is for accept it. L is for love the opportunities that this COVID has given us to go inwards and discover ourselves. There are so many people who are becoming master chefs, who are doing a lot of mandala art, who've discovered music. So though we know that of course we would have loved to be outdoors, though our children would have loved to be going to real school and virtual is a substitute for it, accept it and learn to live with it. And M, most important, is model it. If you're going to be cheerful, your child will be cheerful. If you are going to be positive about this whole situation, your child too will learn to be positive about the situation. I know all this is much easier said than done because parents are really struggling to juggle. There's a huge struggle to juggle. They have to work from home. They have to do their, work things. Of course, they have to do all the household activities. Plus, they have to become partners in their child's learning process. And none of this is easy. But remember, this is the baby that you love so much. So every time he upsets you or she upsets you, just take a deep breath and calm yourself and say that yes, this is the best that I can do and no more. There's no reason to try and be a perfect parent. Being a good enough parent is good enough. Technology, choose your battles. There are some things that we can control and some things which we can't. Identify your own triggers. That is this what really sets me off? And at that point of time, withdraw from the situation. Let somebody else from the family take over. Give yourself a little bit of break once in a while. And try and create memories which your child will cherish. Make this the best time of bonding with him. Overcoming this anxiety. What can we do to overcome these things? There are 4 happy hormones: oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, and endorphin. Dopamine is something which is associated with learning. So this hormone, if you want that, try and do something creative, try and do something new. It will help you. Serotonin and endorphins, these are released when we are working out. So make sure you get your daily exercise and involve your child and your entire family in the process. I know it's difficult to take time out for something as specific. So make sure it's just a little bit of walking together as a family, or going out up to the terrace or things like that, which will make it easy for you. Oxytocin, which is called the love hormone, which is so important for a strong parent child bonding. This hormone can promote trust, empathy, and in relationships. And it increases with physical affection like kissing and cuddling. Remember to hug your child till you feel his stress melting away. I read this beautiful article that even the amount of pressure we put, in our hugs. First, if a child is throwing a tantrum, it's important to hold them very tight and just let it be till they actually calm down. After which you can relax your hug till you feel his body also relaxing a little bit, and then let go. You'll see that he will definitely feel much more calmer. What are the other things that you can do to reduce anxiety? Keep some routines in place. This is very important. Getting up from bed, going to bed, all these must be maintained every day, same time. Consistency and structure are very calming during times of stress, and young children benefit from knowing what's going to happen and when. It may also help to print a schedule and put it somewhere in a family drawing room where everybody can see it, and go over it as a family every morning. Setting times helps to kind of negotiate between, tell the father to accept that he will do some part of 2 hours, tell the mother that she's going to be looking after this area at that point of time, dividing up the responsibilities. It also allows the child to negotiate that whether he wants to study between 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 if he looks at that. So that makes it so much easier for you to handle, rather than have a temper tantrum at 3 o'clock when you want him to study and he already has a playing on his mind. If it's written out there, it just makes it that much easier. Transitioning becomes much easier. Next thing that one can do is be creative about new activities. Incorporate a lot of new things into your routine, doing puzzles or having a family game time. And you know what? You can go back to the future. Remember the time when we didn't have a lot of screens and a lot of gadgets, when everybody would be together playing a lot of board games or creating a lot of music together, being involved in fun ways as a family, science projects, imaginary games. So many things are possible. It is really time to go back to the future. You have to also limit consumption of news. Staying informed is important, but it's a very good idea to limit consumption of news, which can be toxic to you right now. It has a negative energy and it affects you and your child. And even if there is something that you would like to discuss with your spouse, which is a little worrying, try not to do it with your child around, because they will hear it and it can really, really scare them. And even to the extent, I would say, that unfollow friends or co-workers who are very negative and who are prone to sharing panic inducing posts. There are always a few people who only want to talk about what's going wrong, or be very strict with them and tell them that I will not discuss COVID. Having the same conversation again and again plays a very heavy emotional stress on our minds. Or if you want, just get off social media, and focus on content that helps you, whether it is about nature or about baking or about crafts. You'll find that it has a much better calm effect on you. It's also important to stay in touch virtually. Of course, there is social distancing, but it's important to have a lot of emotional connecting. You have to be able to call your friends and tell them that, find out everybody is okay. Laughter, as they say, is the best medicine. It is so important to stay connected at this point of time. Communication can help the kids also to feel less lonely. So set up that call with the grandparents or with their friends. Set up virtual play dates. Let them get connected. Let them understand that the other person is also in a similar situation and that they're all in it together. They will all come out of it together also. I know of a family where the grandparents read a book to their granddaughter, who is, of course, in another city, virtually. And that has such a calming effect on the child. It is not the best thing, of course, but it is something that brings all of them closer. It also acts as a babysitter and gives the mother that little bit of time that she needs for herself. And when I say mother, it's actually the parent, because it's a parenting that we are talking about, not mothering. So, parenting, this is an absolutely something that has to be shared. So please make your partner your co-host. Don't try and be a superwoman. Don't try and do it all by yourself. Make sure everybody has responsibilities in running the family, in running the house. It could mean that the teenager could have to babysit the younger ones, or it could also mean that the younger one has a responsibility of setting up the plates and the tables and of clearing up after that, or in any other way that you feel your child is capable of and interested in helping you. You have to also talk to them once in a while. Young children may be oblivious of the facts, what exactly is happening, but they sense that some things are not right, and that may lead to them throwing tantrums. So it's important that you pick a time when you yourself are calm, when the child is also in a relaxed way, and talk about things that are disturbing him or her, and then you can resolve it. And sometimes the path of least resistance is the right path. Like I said earlier, if your child wants to indulge in a little more gadget time and it is affording you the opportunity to listen to something like this kind of webinar, then let it be. If it is not having a harmful effect on your child, this is not the time to be a perfectionist. When things are normal again, tell your child that we will review these rules about how much time you can spend on the gadget or how much time you can be doing this activity once things are back to normal. This is a new normal, and find the best ways that you can about coping with it. Try not to be too particular. Perfection is an illusion. And yesterday, Dr. Swati Popat ma'am, yesterday she was sharing this thing that there are three mantras, that caring, sharing, and find a mentor. And I thought it was beautiful. You have to care for yourself, like, don't be the Nirupama Roy in the movies who would sacrifice everything. Be the person on the aeroplane who says that first care for yourself and then you will be able to care for everybody else. A happy mother is a happy family. That is very important. Then, of course, share. It is a shared responsibility. It is not called mothering, it is called parenting. And find a mentor. If you have something which is stressing you, don't vent on social media. It will come around in some way or the other. Just find one confidant that you can talk to who will help to ease you, not add on their burdens onto you, and let it go at that. No self inflicted guilt is required over here. Now I'll start talking about anxieties related to education. So, of course, we have all studied in the traditional way, and this is all online. So, herein lies a big challenge, because we assume that it's going to be very difficult. But studies have shown that children have adapted beautifully. We have the ones who are struggling, we are the ones who have had to unlearn and relearn how to do things in this fashion, whereas they are the ones who have managed. So, what are the do's and don'ts of this kind of learning? Let your child sit for his classes for 30 minutes and then take a break. Don't worry about the length of viewing, focus on the content. There is a partnership between the school and the parent. As a school chips in when your child is having any emotional problem and goes beyond their purview of just academic growth, right now is your time to become the partner in your child's education and help the school with their academic progress. A big shout out to parents at this point of time, because I know the struggle to juggle is very real. And a big shout out to teachers as well, because they have unlearned everything and they have relearned. They have learned how to get technologically savvy. They have learned how to make lesson plans which will engage the young ones. They have learned how to adapt to this new environment, all while at the same time handling their backends as well. But Like I said, a school is a partnership. Education is a partnership between the school, the parent, and the child. And this is the best time for you to come to the forefront and help the teachers in in sending the message to your child that we are in it together. Do not even think about discontinuing studies at this point of time. Do not think about not giving your child an education, because as we all know, the brain develops the maximum between 0 to 6 years. Seeing his peers on an online class gives a child a sense of socialization, which is exactly what all of us are missing at this point of time. Of this age group, of course, we know that there is not a lot of academic which is happening. It's more about a lot of motor development. It's a lot about socialization. It's a lot about language development. Language development happens best in a school scenario. At home, it's generally a one way. A parent will be talking and asking a lot of questions to which a child will just give monosyllabic answers, or the child will be talking and rattling off whatever he wants to do. In a school, it's a two-way communication where the teacher and the child are interacting and learning new things all the time. So make sure that you do not deprive your child of that at any point of time. Of course, you are not qualified. You are a parent. You are not a teacher. But teachers are trained. So when this COVID is over, and hopefully very, very soon, when your child is able to go back to school, if there is any concept that your child hasn't learned and would like to revise, the teacher will help him with that. So don't stress too much about that at this point of time. What is important is to keep him happy, is to keep her mentally stimulated, and keep doing fun things with them, at new activities. Your house is a storehouse. You can get just your household items and ask the child to set them in increasing to decreasing order. You can mix up items and ask them to do some sorting over there. You can bring some items and ask them to do differentiate according to colors. So there's so much that can happen with just this, and that is what your child needs: something new every day, some new stimulation. So if you find that your child is really struggling with wanting to come out to class or online class, or has there is some problem which is out of the blue, then feel free to call up the teacher and ask to schedule a one-on-one with the child. In our school, we actually transitioned from the from PG, from lower KG to upper KG and all the pre-primary classes with the old teacher, so that the child was familiar. And after 2 weeks, the new teacher was gradually brought in, and thus the child could accept a new face. And then the old teacher left and took on her own classes. In this way, it helped to relax the child. If you think that this is what will really help your child, feel free to write to the school. Everybody is grappling with a new normal and everybody is there to help you. If there is some suggestion that you have, I'm sure your schools will be very happy to take it in. Of course, there is this eye strain question at every time, and there was a webinar where Dr. Gitika Bindra said that it is better to be watching something on a TV. Dr. Gitika Bindra is an ophthalmologist, an eye doctor, and she was telling us that it's better to watch something on a TV or a laptop rather than on a mobile, which is a much smaller and a closer screen. So if you can give that option to your child, give that option. What is also very important is to keep the posture. You must not let the computer, it should be at eye level, the top of the screen, so that your child is engaged in that and he's not slouching, because when he's slouching, that will lead to different types of problems. Children at this point may have some eye issues because but they generally outgrow it at this age. So don't worry too much about that, and tell them to wash their faces frequently, wash their eyes frequently between classes. A 30-minute a 30-minute class is good enough for your child, after which he should definitely take a gap. Another huge thing that we can use, parents, is nature. It's all around us and it's time that we give it its due importance, of course. You can use nature to teach your child symmetry. You can go up to the terrace and use nature to do some cloud gazing, because it is such a fun activity. Use your imagination. Give those clouds names and shapes. Give plants names and shapes. Do some gardening with your child. Let them grow their own little microgreens, as you all must be knowing, so popular with everybody. And let your child feel the joy in seeing something sprout and seeing something come to life. When there is so much that he is not in control of, there it will be a uh, very empowering for him to see what he can control. And that exactly is what we would like for our children, to feel that joy of seeing something. And for the last thing here, don't have patience with your child, have a lot of understanding. Again, as Dr. Swati says, that patience is for our in-laws and for our husbands. For our child, it is understanding. It is important to know that the child has no avenue for his temper tantrums. He has no avenue of impulse control. He cannot go out. There are so many things he has absolutely zero control over. Understand those things, and then take a deep breath and calm yourself. Change it if you can, accept it, love the opportunities it is giving you, and then model it. Model the behavior you would like your child to show. And with this, I'd like to start addressing questions. I'm just going to see where we are on the question front. Okay. A parent has written that he is 2 years and 4 months and he's very naughty. He's always throwing tantrums while playing. He throws toys, utensils, never plays more than 10 minutes. However, I encourage her with new ideas. She looks not interested, cannot distract her. Relatives and friends stopped visiting because of current situation. Please suggest how to calm him down. I think, Diksha, ma'am, that you would need to give him some isolation time where he needs to sit in a corner in a separate room if he's going to be so naughty. He seems to be, using this to his advantage. He knows that he can get your attention by doing these things, and when parents are giving in, he has that upper hand. Either he's not getting enough time from you in a good way. Another thing that we parents, Indian parents, tend to do this is a lot, is that we find a lot of fault. We tend to criticize our children very easily, and we don't praise them enough. So it's very important that when he does do the right thing, you focus on that. We have a caption where we have a mantra in our school, which is catch them doing good. Praise them, show them what is the behavior that you want to encourage, and then you will find that slowly there will be the change that you want. Here, why the child is indulging in this behavior is because he's getting your attention at that point of time, and that is what he's craving. Maybe you are too busy to be able to give him attention at other points of time. So try and make that shift, and hopefully things will be a little different. Another parent is asking that my daughter is 2 years. Her play school is now conducting online learning sessions via Zoom, but my daughter refuses to attend it. How can I make her sit and attend her school online? Ma'am, I would suggest that you tell her teachers about it, and they will also understand. 2-year-olds are most, unpredictable. You can't force them to do anything. uh, Put the Zoom on for sure. Tell the teacher to maybe call her by name and get her attention. It's all right if she's moving around in the room, as long as she's aware that there is a class happening, her friends are on that media, her teacher is there, and her teacher might call her. Also, maybe you can ask your school to do different types of activities. It can be, a little bit of music and dance helps the children a lot. A little bit of yoga, where they do it so naturally. We struggle with dog poses and all that. For children, it comes so easily, and if she sees her friend doing it, she will feel very happy and she will feel encouraged to doing it herself. So speak to the school separately and tell them that you're facing this problem, and let your child be in the same room where the class is going. I mean, put the thing on, be there, and it's all right. Maybe she'll come around to it. Don't expect her to sit still for 2 hours like we adults are facing the camera and attending a class. She's only two. Another parent is asking, my child is 2 years and 8 months, how to grow good habits and how to engage in good activities. I need to do household works. In that 2-3 hours daily time, what can she do? It has to be a divided responsibility. It is parenting. So if you can schedule a timetable where some other family members can chip in and ask them, it could, if there is nobody else, no other adult available, maybe it could be via Zoom, reading out a parent story. A grandparent could be reading out a story, or if the father is available, he could be doing things like, pillow fights and some fun activities with the child, which will give you that much needed time that you want. And of course, how to grow good habits is praise them when they're doing the right thing. They are also so unsure of themselves, they don't know. Earlier they would go to school, and in a group of a bigger group, the teacher would tell them what is the right thing, what is the wrong thing. Here the child has no models. So if you find her picking up her toy once and putting it away, and you praise her, that will automatically trigger a happy response in her mind, and she'll want to do it again. Catch them being good. Another parent is asking that my child is 3 years old, and due to pandemic, play schools will not open this year. So how should I start doing things like play school at home only? I want my child to learn and explore the new things. Ma'am, if you are not sure about sending your child to school for the whole year, I would suggest that you invest in some books. Bubbles is a great companion for children, and of course, there are many, many books which you can find online. You can get some puzzles, things like that, which will occupy his mind and keep him engaged. And of course, uh, you have a lot of activities online which will help give you a lot of ideas. You can look up a lot of resources on Intelli FirstCry, or even on our ECA page. We have a lot of activities for children if you want to be doing homeschooling. Do remember though that homeschooling by itself is not easy. A teacher has a curriculum. She understands that she needs to go from A to Z and how she's going to go about it. So if you can have your child attend virtual classes, it will definitely be better. It's a huge responsibility to take on homeschooling, but of course it is doable. So all the very best with that. A parent is asking that my child is 3 years and 8 months. He has online classes to attend, but he doesn't want to learn anything. Just be busy with his toys while the class is going on. How to develop his interest towards study? Ma'am, what is study at this point for these little children? They need to do a little bit of writing, reading. Well, you might find after the pandemic that they're faster on typing, and that writing may become a redundant skill very soon. You think that he needs to be able to identify his alphabets? Give him atta. Let him make A and B out of atta. That will give him a lot of interest. Give him a bowl of sand and let him chalk out what you want on that. That itself will be a lot very different. As long as the classes are going on, children are very smart. They will listen to what they have to listen. They will pick up what they want to pick up, and they will carry on with that. So with that, I think we've come to the end of our, I'll just check if there is anything here, because in case there are any questions, they said they would let me know on my WhatsApp. So, but I think not. All the very best to parents. Keep calm, change it, accept it, love it, and then model it. Namaste.